I had built a portfolio of properties and was prepared to retire at 30. Within 3 months of being like, hey, this is great, I'm going to start looking and planning retirement, I ended up filing bankruptcy.
Gabrielle Simmons is the former trucker turned investor running the largest real estate community in Colorado.
I don't come from money, and so I also didn't know what the heck to do with it. I was blowing it, man. I took my best friend, got her passport, flew us to Cuba for a week-long trip, went to Dubai. I was spending money left and right.
What would one piece of advice you'd give Gabrielle going right through the hardest parts of that bankruptcy?
Be grateful that this is happening at 29.
What's one of the weirdest things that happened to you at a truck stop or driving?
I had someone attempt to follow me into my shower.
For those who say the American dream is dead, that you can't get into real estate, what do you say to those folks?
I say you need one of 3 things, but not all of them. You need time, money, or...
All right, folks. So we want to take a quick minute to introduce our diamond sponsor, Chris Seegers with Exceptional Business Advisors. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your business, sir?
Man, a question that we love to ask our potential clients is, do you know what your business is worth? And if you sold your business today, would it fulfill your personal and financial goals? If you're a successful business owner, but you don't know when or how to sell your business, and if you've ever wondered what each additional day in your business is actually costing you, we'd love to chat. If you're ready to spend more time with your family, your friends, or traveling, come sit down with our team, because when you work with exceptional business advisors, we'll help you build a blueprint to sell your business successfully and help you create, capture, and achieve your dream life. Don't wait for the right time. The time's now. Go ahead and scan the QR code or book a discovery appointment at excoadvisors.com.
Now let's get back to the show.
Welcome back to the COS Business Podcast, the #1 business podcast in Colorado Springs and Colorado.
Today, our highlighted sponsor is Planet Duck. You can check them out at planetduck.com.
Wow, we have a very special guest. It's been 5.5 years. Gabrielle Simmons, founder of Real Estate Dealmakers. How you doing?
Good. Thank you guys for having me back on the show. I didn't realize it had been that long.
Yes, it's been quite some time, and I'm here with Chris again for this episode. So we're super excited to interview. It's almost like we're getting to know you for the first time, because last time you were on here, it was just Andrew running the show, which is, that was quite some time ago, right during the middle of, what?
COVID.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, are we not supposed to say that word?
That's fine. It's good. It's good. But let's start from the very beginning with you. Let's talk about what got you into real estate, because I think it's one of the coolest stories of how you got into this whole thing. And then, start from the very beginning, where you come from, because it's kind of funny. You actually come from right here in Colorado Springs.
Yeah. And that's also why I appreciate what you guys do here, because it's Colorado based. It's Colorado Springs based.
Yeah.
Even more important to me, as my family and I have been here natives for over 80 years. And so I really have a passion for real estate, what I do now, but how it all started. And what I shared on our last episode was my background in trucking. That was my first way to get out of Colorado. Growing up here and just being here pretty much my whole life, I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to figure out something. Had an opportunity to go on the road and learn about truck driving, and quit my job and got my CDL and decided to go travel the entire country.
How did that happen? How do you have an opportunity to start driving a truck? No one has presented that to me before.
Oh, I'm sorry that hasn't
I know,
been
me
presented
too.
to
I am
you.
as well.
Yeah.
I was dating somebody who was from another country, and it was like his dream to be in the US and be a truck driver. And so I was too young at the time to actually have a CDL when we were together, but I was able to go on the road with him because I helped him start the company.
Cool.
And so I went on the road with him and got to see what it was like and be a passenger princess. And I was like, this is cool. I could do this. This isn't too crazy. And then that relationship ended, I came back here and was working a desk job doing countertops and kitchen and bathroom design, which I was very passionate about that for some reason. And it was kind of just like, one day when I get old, I'll become a trucker, was the thought at the time.
And how old was old back then? You're like, when I'm
Like
25.
40.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
For me back then, it was like when I'm 20 and old.
Yeah.
I was already 20, I think, at this
Okay,
point, or like 19. And so, yeah, then I'm like, oh, when I'm like 40 and retired, I'll become a trucker. And a couple years went by and I just got tired of like working the office job and being in Colorado. And so it's like, all right, I was 22. It's like, okay, I'm going to quit my job and go to CDL school.
And how hard was that?
Very, actually. It was very challenging. You're in class literally like all day, 8 or 9 hours a day. And it's some classroom, you know, dealing with the truck, you're learning what's under the hood. I also learned on a manual transmission.
Ooh.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. And so that was very difficult as well. I actually failed the test twice. And as an overachiever, I was very hurt by that because I had never really failed anything and had to go back to school for like 2-3 more weeks after failing, and finally passed the test and got my license.
Wow. And so, okay, you get in there and you're learning that. And obviously you have some experience with the X, right? Going and traveling and everything too. But like, what big nuggets of wisdom did you get from having a job like that where you get to travel around the US? I'm assuming hours are interesting, right? Because you're allowed to drive only a certain amount of hours.
Yep.
Then you got to rest for a certain amount of hours. Tell us a little bit more about that.
I mean, I really learned business as a whole, right? Like, because I had never been close to anyone who was running their own business. My family, my mom's in the medical field, and most of my family has been in that space. And so that in itself was like an eye opener of like how to have your own business and make your own schedule and be your own boss. And so that was eye opening for me for sure. And then traveling to different states and just meeting different people, having so many conversations, seeing so many different walks of life coming into the same career field. You know, there's so many different races of people that become truckers. And then we all are like literally neighbors sleeping in our trucks next to each other at truck stops. And it really just opened my eyes to how diverse our country is and how like many opportunities there are out there.
Yeah.
What's one of the weirdest things that happened to you at a truck stop or driving?
Oh,
That
man.
every time I go
so
to
I
a
was gonna
truck
ask.
stop, I'm like, there's some weirdness happening.
There's
out there
so much weirdness.
that you can say on the podcast.
Yeah. Once I became a driver on my own and was on the road by myself, I had someone follow me into attempt to follow me into my shower at a truck stop. Yeah,
That's not good.
That was not awesome. And I was terrified. I was so scared. I called my mom while I'm in there, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, call the police. And I'm like, and tell them what? Like, you know, they're not going to do anything. And so after that, actually, and it's probably not great that I say, but I also don't care anymore. I decided to get a gun and travel with
That's what I was
with
hoping
a
you were gonna
pistol
say.
Yeah.
because I'm a woman on the road by myself, and I would rather have it and not need it, you know, than need it and not have it.
For sure.
But legally, as truckers, we're not allowed to have weapons.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Interesting. Was there a lot of female truckers back then too?
Yeah, there were, and I had the opportunity to kind of step into somewhat of a coaching role and help
Yeah.
encourage more women by utilizing Facebook and just like offering free coaching calls and encouraging women to get into the industry because it was and still is very much a male dominated space, but also because of the fears that a lot of women have in being over the road by themselves and not really knowing how to navigate that. And so I'd be the first one to tell them like, hey, get out here and be brave, first of all, like show up, don't walk around scared and timid. But also have a weapon and, deal with the consequences that may come with that. But it's better to have it and protect yourself.
We'd like to take a quick break and thank our sponsors.
Brightleaf Energy. Brightleaf Energy is revolutionizing how businesses approach sustainability.
They're the experts in building decarbonization, bringing collaboration, innovation, and flexibility to every project.
Whether you need a strategic decarbonization roadmap or flexible engineering support to scale your team, Brightleaf helps you crush your ESG goals while optimizing facility performance.
Learn more at brightleafenergy.com. That's brightleafenergy.com.
Junkin Hall.
Need to clear out clutter fast?
Junkin Hall is Colorado Springs' go-to for same-day junk removal.
With the eco-friendly service and a 5-star team you can trust.
Visit junkinhall.com to schedule your free estimate today. That's JUNKNHAUL.com.
Bolton Co. Executive Coaching.
Up feels better than stuck. You know that. But in this market, how do you get unstuck and get ahead as an executive?
Our guy, JB, is an executive coach at Bolton Co. Coaching, where he believes you don't have to change who you are. You just need an injection of effectiveness and a proven competitive edge roadmap for your way up. Head to boltonco.net. That's boltonco.net. Be Our Guest Getaways. Be Our Guest Getaways specializes in Disney cruise resort and theme park vacations.
Planning a Disney vacation can be stressful. Let Be Our Guest Getaways provide you with concierge-level service for free.
Learn more at beourguestgetaways.com. That's beourguestgetaways.com.
Planet Duct. Planet Duct is the #1 choice for professional air duct cleaning in Colorado Springs and Southern Colorado. With state-of-the-art equipment and top-tier service, they make sure the air in your home or business is clean and allergen-free. Breathe easier with Planet Duct. Learn more at planetduct.com.
Awesome Home Services. Awesome Home Services delivers top-notch HVAC solutions for your home. Whether you need heating, cooling, or system maintenance, they ensure your comfort year-round. Visit awesomeservice.com for your HVAC needs. That's awesomeservice.com.
Proud American Electrical and Solar.
Give Proud American Electrical and Solar a call today for all your electrical and solar needs. They are locally owned and operated business right here in Colorado Springs. If you're looking for information on solar, this is the company you will want to call. Check out their website at proudamericανsolar.com. Use promo code COSBusiness for a 5% discount today.
Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care.
Pinnacle Advanced Primary Care offers affordable, accessible healthcare with a focus on you. They provide exceptional primary care without the hassle of insurance barriers. Experience a patient-centered approach. Learn more at pinnacleapc.com.
And now let's get back to the show. It sounds like, and we'll get more into your story, but it sounds like you specialize in kind of bringing people together, which is kind of going to be the theme here. So that was early on during the trucking situation. Was that always like a theme kind of leading into this situation too as well? Like you always were kind of a connector or gathering people together for a bigger cause? Was that a recurring theme in your life?
I think that's where it started, really. And until us talking about it right now, I hadn't really realized that, because prior to like growing up and early adulthood, I was fairly isolated. I moved a lot, into many different schools. And so bringing people together or having like a group of even friends wasn't much of a thing in my life. So in the trucking space, I think is when I really got to grasp the opportunity to bring people together and to say like, hey, we are a community, even though you live in Michigan and you live in Texas and whatever, we actually have something great in common. So let's come together and support each other. And that has very much now evolved into my everyday role with what I do in my real estate company.
Who taught you that grit or bravery to do that's very unique? And I have a young daughter, and so I think it's really important to teach everybody, but females as well, to say, hey, get after it, go take, whatever you want out of life. Was that your family? Was that the having to go to new schools all the time and just kind of built, like, how did you learn that? And how do you teach other people that?
I would say both. The having to go to different schools, it gives you tough skin and like not being afraid to be alone, number one, which I think a lot of people really struggle with. And not being afraid of like trying something different, trying something new. But definitely I have to credit my mom. My mom has always been my biggest supporter and encourager. And as early as I can remember, she's always told me, you can do anything you set your mind to. And I believe it. And so that's always been, even when I'm scared, even when I'm starting my first business and people are telling me that I shouldn't, or it's not going to work out, or percentages of businesses that fail, right? Like I can just hear my mom, like, you can do anything you set your mind to, and sticking to that. And so I encourage women, young girls, like, to do the same and just believe that in yourself. Because usually when you're doing that, when you're pursuing something that's different, that requires grit, you're usually not going to have a big crowd of people that are behind you until later.
For sure.
Until it works out.
You noted on something really special. So I attribute a lot of my success to moving around a lot when I was younger too, like moving to New York. My very first best friend in first grade was named Vinny Michelli.
That's
because I lived in upstate
name.
New York, right? So like I remember bringing that home to my mom and dad. They're like, "What? What's his name?" Like Vinny Michelli. But like I lived in California, we lived in Kentucky. Like going around the country and learning people and making yourself a little bit more worldly, is so important, especially at like a young age. And then you got this, in your early 20s too, as well. I mean, I always attribute to it like another thing too is like bar talk. Like you can walk into a bar, sit in a bar, and like anybody in a bar, white collar, blue collar, does not matter. There's all types of stripes of people in there. And having that ability to converse with people is a very special skill. So that's so cool that you learned that, early on in your career. So tell us more kind of how things progress from there.
So after getting pretty well established, I would say, in the trucking game and making more money than I had ever made, like I don't come from money, and so I also didn't know what the heck to do with it.
So what did you do with it? Give us some examples. I always love to hear that.
What do you think I did with it?
I don't know. Spin it on something, but it's always interesting. Like,
I was blowing it, man. Like I took my best friend, got her passport, flew us to Cuba for a week-long trip.
That's awesome.
Went to Dubai. Actually, my first international trip was to Dubai, and I booked it on like a Tuesday for like a Friday flight.
Wow.
I booked a 3-day trip to Dubai. This is how, right. Like,
that's awesome.
I didn't even realize it's an 18-hour flight. First of all, the time change is so significant. I don't think I slept at all for 2 days. And then coming back, it was horrible. I was spending money left and right, like just on trips. I like to travel. I like to meet people. I like to see different cultures and experiences. And so I did that for a while until I was like, okay, wait a second. I also don't want to be a trucker my whole life. So this is cool and all. I've achieved this goal, but how do I make my money work for me? And that's what most of us want to know. So we don't have to work forever. And I just like Googled, I think, how to invest money or something like that. And I came across Chris Crone, who is a established real estate investor out in Provo, Utah.
Interesting.
And he's like a guru, if you will. Lots of YouTube, lots of, information about real estate investing. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah, real estate. Like that makes sense. Let me start looking into how to invest my trucking money into real estate. And I paid $10,000 for his platinum mentorship program and learned a lot, went out to one of his events. But what I was learning was like how to invest into real estate if you have money. And like I thought I had money. I didn't have real money. And so then I'm like, okay, well, how do I get real money? Like bigger chunks where I can put a $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 deposit on a rental or buy one cash. And I learned about wholesaling real estate and then decided that I was going to pursue that while trucking.
Nice. What year was this?
This was 2019.
Okay, sweet. And so how did you start wholesaling?
I started educating myself, right? Like learning all these, listening to podcasts, Bigger Pockets podcasts.
Great podcast.
Yeah. Listening to Bigger Pockets books while driving. And then I started marketing myself on Facebook as an investor, and I buy houses. And even though I hadn't bought a house, but I knew how to buy a house. I knew how to help someone if they
Mhm.
needed to sell their house. And then I actually bought my first house right around the same time. I bought a duplex in Pueblo as my primary residence. And yeah, just marketing myself on Facebook, I was able to get my first 2 wholesale deals while trucking. Like I never saw the house, didn't come back to Colorado, and I ended
Wow.
up making like 20 grand between those 2 deals, and had spent maybe 8 hours of actual time
Mhm.
like on those deals. And I was like, holy crap, like I'm getting out of this truck and I'm gonna go do that.
So for someone who hasn't done real estate, explain wholesaling.
Yeah. Wholesaling is one, first of all, you don't have to be licensed. You do not have to be a realtor. Um, Wholesaling is being the middleman or woman. You get in contact with a motivated seller, typically somebody who needs to sell their property,
Mhm.
doesn't want to sell their property. There's some motivational reason, divorce or some financial burden, facing pre-foreclosure, and you get in contact with them typically before they're in contact with a realtor, and you're letting them know, hey, we can buy your house cash, kind of like those billboards that used to be everywhere, those yellow we buy
Mhm.
ugly houses.
Yeah.
uh, as a wholesaler, you're becoming that billboard, you're
Mhm.
becoming that we buy ugly houses. And so then you get the property under contract with the homeowner, and for a reduced price. Typically we're looking for a deal,
Mhm.
and that's the hard part of wholesaling, is understanding what those numbers need to be. And then you're selling that contract to an investor who has the cash, who's going to actually buy the property, and you're selling it to them for more than what you got it under contract for. And that's how you make your money in the middle as a wholesaler.
So as a new real estate person that doesn't have anything, this would be a place to start.
Yeah, no doubt.
Love it.
Yeah. And so for you, obviously, you got the bug and then you made some money off that first one. Do you find there's a lot of hesitation for folks who are kind of just right on the edge of like, I kind of want to get into it, but I'm a little nervous, and they're
Yeah.
just not there. They don't invest in the duplex or something of that sort. Is that where the majority of people kind of fall in your pipeline of, and not your personal pipeline, but you see in the industry specifically?
Where they're where they don't know like how to get started, or
Yeah, like
like
they're getting right up to the edge, but they don't necessarily take the leap of faith like the select few that do and have success from it.
yeah, I think that is very common,
Mm.
extremely common. And I would attribute that mostly to like um them thinking that it's too good to be true. I hear that a lot with coaching. I've done coaching of wholesaling and creative financing, and I've heard that's probably the main thing I hear. It's just like, it can't be that easy.
Mhm.
It's like it's simple, but it's not easy. Doing the work, finding the deals, getting in touch with these motivated sellers, like that is not easy. That takes work and time. But yeah, the process really is that simple. You're being a middleman, and you
Mhm.
don't have to have any money to do it. You don't you don't even have to have money to do the marketing to find the sellers. And that's something that I also teach um wholesalers, is like, hey, you're doing it wrong, or you learned wrong. You learned from people who are encouraging you to go spend a bunch of money on VAs, virtual assistants,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and marketing campaigns, and mailers and bandit signs, and like things that you don't actually need. You can utilize social media, brand yourself there. That's free 99 to do. Make connections virtually. Or what I did is partner up with a dedicated buyer, somebody who has a lot of capital or access to a lot of capital, and they become the source of the marketing. So then they're paying for a VA or whatever platform.
Mhm.
And then now I'm just working warm leads and get a cut off of the deals. I still get an assignment fee as their dedicated acquisitions person, and zero overhead for me.
That's brilliant. So you essentially like expanded your network, and you found like motivated buyers, and you're essentially that middleman. and you can leverage them, not only
Mhm.
for their investment power, but also like their investment in the marketing side of things too as well.
Yeah.
Is that how it all started
And
for
only
you?
a couple, like one ideally, like a buyer,
Gotcha.
a buyer who wants to do a high volume per year.
Link Arms is one buyer specifically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then maybe have like 2 other buyers that maybe buy the types of properties that your buyer doesn't buy, or a different criteria
Mhm.
than what your buyer's looking for. And that's way different than what most wholesalers are doing, because they build a buyer's list
And blast it.
and there's no relationship. They don't know what these buyers actually want. Buyers who fill out a buyer's list to tell a wholesaler what their criteria is 9 times out of 10 a waste of time. They don't care what your criteria is. They're going to send you every single thing they come across, and that
Mhm.
wastes your time as a buyer going through all of these deals that don't even match what you're looking for.
Now, when you invested your $10,000 when you first started this, did this help like springboard this wealth of knowledge that you have now? Or was there a level between when you got the duplex and then you started teaching this stuff to other people? Like, walk us through that gap.
Yeah. When I got the duplex, so I was green as they come.
Yeah.
I was afraid. I went under contract on the duplex, chickened out and canceled the contract just in time to get my earnest money back. The agent came back and was like, hey, it's still on the market. We will offer, I forget what the offer was, but some sort of like seller concession. I would get like an extra $3,000 back at closing. And so it made me a little more comfortable. It was a great buy to begin with. I was just scared. Buy the duplex. I am wholesaling. So I moved back to Colorado to wholesale full time, and living with my mom. And that first year, I dedicated just a full year of like, all right, I'm doing this, going as hard as I can. I'm showing up at every networking thing possible. I'm adding people on Facebook. I'm just putting it out there. I buy houses. And I have the dedicated buyer, and we're starting to get an idea of a potential good marketing system to get some leads directly. And so that first year, I did 15 wholesale deals, and they were tiny, tiny deals. Like I made less that first year than I made trucking, significantly less. But I was in it. And so the end of that first year, I'm like, okay, I want to start teaching people. And I had others telling me like, what the hell, who are you? Like, why, you don't know shit about real estate. Like,
Yeah.
why are you going to be teaching people? And I'm like, no, but I know what I know. And what I know, I bought a duplex where I cash flow over $700 a month. And I bought it at a great price, fully renovated. I know how to wholesale because I've been doing it. At this point, I had done some subject to deals, so I know how to teach and understand creative financing, and I know it's important. So I'm going to start teaching people. And so that beginning of that next year, I started a team, and I have a passion for helping people. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to coach people, and I'm not going to charge them anything. They're going to come, if they're dedicated to coming in office to be with us at least 3 days a week, we will sit down and I will coach them full time and plug them into our marketing system and help them work deals. And then I would get a large majority of the assignment fees off of the first deal that we do together. And I got really burnt out with that. Honestly, it was difficult to do dedicating that much time.
Mhm.
And then that also kind of cost me time in not doing some of my own deals.
Totally.
And so that went on for really about a year. But after about 3 or 4 months of that and starting to feel some burnout, I stopped welcoming new people into the free coaching program and started to play with the idea of charging people for me to teach them wholesaling. But went really hard that year, and have a couple success stories of students that quit their jobs and went full-time wholesaling, supporting their families. And that felt really good. And did 43 deals that year. And just, that was the most I'd ever made or seen. and started buying my own properties, more of my own properties at that point.
Wow. And so where in the mix of this is real estate makers come into the fold? Because it sounds like it's already working its way towards that, right? You're building a community of folks who are following you. You decide to kind of take more paid clients as well to help, build a team around you. But where does that come into play?
Yeah, so Real Estate Dealmakers is the name of my group now. We rebranded it. So it started right around that same time where I just left off. Beginning of 2021, I created a Facebook group, and it was called Wholesale Flip Invest.
Hmm.
And the idea was I wanted a Facebook group that wasn't about realtors. That was about people who were investing and wholesaling and flipping. And I wanted a space where I would just do like random, like, hey, I'm going to this brewery this weekend, like come hang out, like let's talk, and just share ideas, and just wanted to create that community. And so I started that Facebook group.
Was this during COVID?
Yeah.
Or COVID timeframe era?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
Interesting.
end of 2020, early 2021.
Okay. So
Mhm.
right in there.
Yeah. And it just took off. Like I had a bunch of people joining and showing up for events. And then I put together my online coaching courses, and that was taken off, and one-on-one mentorship. And that was doing really well.
Why was that working? What was different? Because there's a lot of folks that try to start these online communities and they don't work. And I'm
Yeah.
curious what you were doing different.
I don't know. Like really, I think because I've given a lot away, like to me it's more important to share the knowledge
Hmm.
than to like be a gatekeeper, or to be like, oh, if you pay me, then I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I think that I've been able to build this community largely just by giving a lot of value to people and being willing to sit down and answer questions.
I saw when I was researching, I saw you with, do you know Rob Thompson with the 411? Okay,
Yes.
yeah. So we had him on. He's a really good buddy of mine. And
Yeah.
that's why I was curious, because he had the same premise. He's like, I just wanted to serve. I wanted to
Yeah.
connect people and serve. And I didn't want to think about monetizing it. And he's
Right.
like, that's why it was successful.
Yeah. And
which
I
is
think when you
curious.
lead with a heart like that, it comes back twofold. And even though it's difficult, like we typically go through a lot of pain along the way, I think it's worth it. It always comes back. First time I sat down with Rob, which was earlier this year, one of my mentors,
Interesting.
Charles D'Alessio,
Oh yeah, I know Charles.
I consider him a mentor. He's a genius.
He's a really funny guy.
Very, very smart.
unique.
And yeah. And so during this time in 2020 and 2021, we were officing out of his building, out of
Okay,
his
cool.
space.
Yeah.
So that's where I met him and just got to like learn from him. But so fast forward to this year when I'm changing my Facebook group to Real Estate Dealmakers and making this a community with memberships now and in-person classes, and we have a physical building. And I meet with Charles and am telling him just a little bit about what I'm doing and want to hear his input. And he tells me, you need to sit down with Rob Thompson and you need to learn about the 411 and all of these things. And so I reach out to Rob and we sit down and have lunch together. And probably 30 minutes in, Rob is just pouring into me. He's giving me so much value and just like, here, do that. If you do this and how, and even just mindset things and like what to be prepared for when you're leading this type of community. And I cried. I literally just started crying, and I was like, Rob, thank you so much. Like you're being so extremely generous with your time and your knowledge. And this is going to make my community be huge. And I can't thank you enough for that. And I love the opportunity to connect with people like Rob who have that same passion.
Yeah, we've got a statement of be relational, not transactional. And
Yes.
I really think it's woven into the architecture of life that when you build relationships with no other input other than to serve and to be helpful. That's why this podcast, I think, is so successful. You guys started it just to create a voice for the community.
Yeah.
It expands in a way that people that are thinking, I'm here to get something from this conversation, that will never get the broader input that should have been there. It's
Yeah.
really fascinating to me.
It's true.
I was going to note some funny thing. What did Rob take you to was it Treehouse Coffee? Was it
No.
there? Okay, because he always gets a BLT there. And he's like, "I had the best BLT in
Colorado
Springs." So that's funny. It was somewhere else then, or
We met at Starbucks. I think I picked the place.
Oh, okay,
And
good.
and I suggested Starbucks right down the road from where we're at.
gosh, that's so funny. Well, I mean, he's got a big group. It's like 110, 120,000 folks in that group now, but you're well up above 60,000 now, which is insane. And the largest and
Largest network of investors online in Colorado.
wow,
60,000, yeah.
So what we've talked about with Rob is like measuring the amount of transactions and values coming out of a group, right? And
Yeah.
like how Colorado Springs, the epicenter of Colorado Springs, really moves through his analytics through 411,
Yeah.
which is brilliant because it's like, okay, we have city leadership here, but really the epicenter of what's really going around town is in the 411
For sure.
Yeah.
and like understanding the analytics. Have you guys like talked about
He's
that? kind
such
of-
oh yeah, we've talked about it. And I am the complete opposite. I am like I didn't know a single KPI for my wholesaling. I didn't know what a KPI was. Okay. And, like we're talking 50 deals in and I'm like, huh? Like I'm supposed to be tracking what? Why? I know I'm doing deals. That's what matters. So I love and appreciate Rob for that
Oh,
like
yeah.
focus that he has on data
Mhm.
because it's important and powerful when you understand that. And that's something that I'm in talks with him about right now of like, okay, how do we implement some of that into our community because it doesn't exist currently.
I can only imagine the assessment of value and
Mhm.
investments that have gone in and out of your business, of your closed Facebook group that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
if someone were to come in and be like, hey, I want to buy this from you, there's probably a good amount of money they would probably try to give you to buy something that valuable. That's a very valuable asset that you have
Right.
inside that group. Have you heard of like some massive wins in there? You're like, oh my gosh, this came out of my group. And like, it's so cool because it connected, John with Jim or whatever it might be.
Yeah, we've had several recently. A couple that I'll share.
We're going to take a quick break to thank our sponsors.
Rain Tech.
RainTech is a trusted IT partner that keeps your business running smoothly.
From cybersecurity to cloud solutions and data recovery, they've got your back so you can focus on what you do best.
Learn more at rain.tech. That's RAIN.tech. HR branches.
Is your back office chaos? Are you buried in HR, payroll, and financial guesswork?
Your passion shouldn't be a prison. Savion HQ is your fractional back office partner. We merge HR, payroll, accounting, and tax to bring order to the chaos and make your passion profitable again.
Stop the bleed, get your freedom back. Find us at savionhq.com or email at hello@savionhq.com.
Data Hubs is a compliance, intelligence, and orchestration platform that helps organizations meet the requirements of frameworks like ISO 27001, SOC2, CMMC, HIPAA, GDPR, and more.
Data Hubs gives small and mid-sized businesses a premium compliance experience while cutting down the time, cost, and stress it usually takes to get across the finish line. Learn more at datahubs.com. That's DATAHUBZ.com.
Reveal Med Spa. Look and feel your best at Reveal Med Spas. With personalized plans that deliver real results, radiant skin, restored confidence, and natural rejuvenation.
At Reveal Med Spa, we see you more than just aesthetic and wellness treatments. We provide a safe, judgment-free space where you feel valued, heard, and supported.
Visit revealmedspas.com.
I think it is literally just that too. We'll just double check. Book your next session at revealmedspas.com. That's revealmedspas.com. Fast Signs. From banners to vehicle wraps, Fast Signs delivers custom visual solutions to help your business stand out. Their team ensures your message is clear, bold, and effective. Get your signage needed handled at fastsigns.com. That's fastsigns.com.
Dream Accounting Solutions. Take the stress out of managing your books with Dream Accounting Solutions. They provide reliable expert accounting services tailored to small businesses. Simplify your finances at dreamaccountingsolutions.com. That's dreamaccountingsolutions.com.
Exponential Impact. Exponential Impact is driving innovation and entrepreneurial success in Colorado Springs. Supporting startups with mentorship, funding, and community resources, they help businesses grow and thrive. Learn more about their impact at exponentialimpact.com. That's exponentialimpact.com.
And now let's get back to the show.
One of the groups. So we are a membership-based community. We have our online, open, and free sector, if you will, and then we have our paid membership groups. And in that space, there's companies of all types, not just real estate. But one of the companies is a steel manufacturing plant that's currently being built in Florence, Colorado.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And they manufacture steel, and they do like home kits. They manufacture ADUs, and they do development. And
What's the name of the company?
Miticus
Okay.
Manufacturing.
Okay, cool.
And so through my wholesaling days, I had the opportunity to connect with a gentleman who is working at Miticus. He saw real estate Dealmakers going on and starting to build, and he's like, hey, we want to be a part of that. And they hadn't even opened their plant yet. But they joined my group as a verified member. And then another person who I know in the business community introduced me to a company called Serverdome. And so I'm talking to Serverdome, and they're telling me that they're looking for land, right? And so they're talking to me, oh yeah, you know wholesaling, you know how to find deals. We're looking for land. Help us find some good land deals. And we want to build these big old server domes that are data centers for AI. And so I'm like, oh, Miticus Manufacturing has like over 100 acres where they're building their facility. Let's hit them up and see, you know, maybe they want to sell off some of that land. And sure enough, we were able to put it together, and a deal has been signed, and they're actually leasing, not buying the land. But so we're building Serverdome, which hasn't been in the state of Colorado. We're getting to bring that here, and they're going to start building these data centers with one of my verified partners. So, and that's a very lucrative opportunity for both parties involved. And so that was a huge win for me to be able to help facilitate that.
That's amazing.
That's gnarly.
Yeah.
That's economic impact coming in our state, where
Yeah.
like state representatives can be looking at you and be like, hey, like, you want some grant money because you're making these deals happen in our home
Hey,
state,
that's
and that's a pretty big deal.
That's a good idea.
And Southern Colorado needs more development.
Mhm.
Florence, Pueblo, Canyon City. I'm from Westcliff. That kind of setup is game changing. I mean,
Yeah.
Florence has been so underdeveloped forever. It's been so ratty forever. But every time I drive through there, golly, somebody's going to take this opportunity and this cheap land and figure it out.
And it's a cool place. Like
Mhm.
it should. There's lots of opportunity and like attractions naturally, I would say, because of the just like the hot springs that are around
Mhm.
there, and it's a beautiful place. And once it's developed, I can really see it being somewhere that people would like, even a destination people would want to go to.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Canyon City 2 weeks ago, and the St. Cloud Hotel is an awesome development. I don't know if you've been over
Hmm.
there. Stan Bullis, the guy who runs it, he'd be a guy for you to connect with. But they've got a great concept for how they're going to redevelop Canyon. They have the river
Mm.
right there. I mean, it
Mhm.
could be the next Salida, Buena Vista. It's
Heck
got a
yeah.
lot going for it, and it's like 10 degrees warmer than most of Colorado, which is kind of something Pueblo has too.
Mm.
Where folks that maybe are from Texas or Oklahoma are like, hey, I'd rather have a house there than up where it's high elevation and cold.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other win, I mean, there's lots, but these are just a couple that I felt really excited about. A gentleman who showed up for one of our first real estate Dealmaker in-person mixers. We do once a month events at our building in Lone Tree. And he owns a barbershop, and he's been thinking about investing. He's been reading, learning things online. And he came to the event, and we met, and I connected him with our verified hard money lender, and they got to chatting, and he introduced him to a wholesaler who had a deal, and Pete is his name, the investor gentleman. Pete bought the deal, and so he calls me a couple months later, and he's like, hey, Gabrielle, you know, I met you at the event, and was able to buy this deal, and I just want to stay in contact. And you know, if there's anything that I need along the way, would you be a good resource? I'm like, absolutely, whatever you need, give us a call. He calls me towards the end of the deal, the flip being done, and they're having title issues.
Mm.
And so I'm like, okay, we got you. We got a verified attorney. plug him in with my attorney, Miriam. They get that settled. He sells the property and makes over $100,000
Wow.
profit.
That's incredible.
Yes.
Wow.
And calls me back, and he's just like, just want to let you know the house, we're closing on the house tomorrow. This is what I'm looking. And he left that for the end. I'm like, okay, he's going through all of the horror stories of what it's been and what he's learned, and how he wants me to connect him with someone who has a little more experience and they can partner together to do some flips. And I'm like, okay, but like, how much money did you lose, man? Like, what happened? And he's like, well, I made like $100,000, but, and I'm like, what? So, yeah. And then I just really appreciate like him coming back and saying like, hey, do you have somebody who, and the answer is yes. The answer is almost always yes, that I have somebody in my network. And so I'm very proud of what we've been able to build with Real Estate Dealmakers, and being a resource for people in so many different just areas of real estate as a whole.
How do you vet bad actors? So I think in all white collar services, real estate, HR, attorneys, CPAs, title folks, this is just my view, but like 90% of them suck and 10% are really good.
Uh-huh.
How have you gone through that in your ecosystem? Because that's something that we're constantly doing. And even Rob at the 411, we're trying to figure out who are the players in the business that really want to grow their businesses and do big things in the community. How have you taken on that problem?
Personally would be my short answer. I've taken on that problem personally. And so I like to meet with people. I'm an in-person person. I like to listen to vibes, to my intuition. If I feel like they're just not my tribe, I don't welcome them into my community. And that's probably not the like best business model. But I listen when somebody tells me like, hey, this person screwed me over. Tell me about it. I want to hear about it. Like,
for sure.
And show me. You got text messages, you have proof, like, and not because I don't want drama, I'm not trying to like stir up something, but I want to understand. And if it's valid, I'm going to take that and be like, okay, well, I don't want to work with that person either.
For sure.
Because they did something that displays poor character.
Mm-hmm.
Or, they take 4 days to respond to an email that's of high priority.
Yep.
Also not exactly. And so I tell people this when we're going through like whether I'm going to invite them into the community to get verified as a member or not, I explain to them the importance of like, hey, I am going to be following up. When I make a connection between you and a potential client, we have a tracking system. The one data thing we are doing, thanks to Rob, where we're following up, and we're going to reach out to that client and say, hey, did this person get in touch with you? Did they solve your problem? Did they act professionally? Right.
For sure.
And if the answer is no, I have no problem being like, hey, you're not welcome in this group. No problem.
I think that's really important. And we've gotten too nice where, and Rob and I had the same discussion. I'm like, I always want to hear bad feedback, not gossip. But if you use somebody and you're like, hey, they just didn't respond, or they just weren't that good, or they way overcharged me, I want to know that. Because there's great people doing great work. And I want to shrink that ecosystem to all the greatest folks in Southern Colorado that are doing amazing things. And there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that are just average at their job. And I'm like, that's okay, but you can't be in my ecosystem.
Right.
Or in this kind of excellent ecosystem. And that's fine. And they'll find other clients that, are okay with that.
I think
And
you might
with
say it's an exceptional ecosystem.
Exceptional. That's right.
Exceptional.
All the time.
That's his business name, by the way.
That's our family office brand.
Oh,
And
makes sense.
we had that word because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's times when we fail that as a team, and I'm like, guys, we're not living up to our brand. And that's why we had that word in our brand, because we're not just an ordinary business that's doing okay. Like, we want to strive to be exceptional, which is tough.
Yeah. And what that means to people is different. And so
For
that
sure.
I welcome everyone's feedback. Like, I'm like, guys, for one, we're new. Real Estate Dealmakers as a company is a new thing. I don't pretend to know it all. And my business partner is a very intelligent man, lots of experience in real estate, commercial real estate, and owning a brokerage, and owns multiple businesses in different countries even. And so even he is like still like, hey guys, give us feedback.
Mhm.
What are we doing
For
right?
sure.
What are we doing wrong? How can we make this a better community? How can we make the monthly membership you guys are paying valuable to you?
Mhm.
And I think that's how we stay fresh, is by being open to striving to be exceptional.
Yeah. I'm reading. Have you read the book Mindset?
Mm-mm.
Mindset.
It's a really good book, and it's pretty simple. So there's fixed mindsets and growth mindsets.
Hmm.
And every human being, and you can evolve and be in different mindsets in different areas of your life, but that's been a vetting mechanism for us.
Mm.
And that's where Rob and I hit it off. I was like, this guy's always growing and
Mhm.
thinking and evolving. I could tell you're in the same space. You and I, Andrew, like when we get together, that's that connectivity, that vibe that you're feeling.
Yeah.
Instead of somebody being like, I know it all. And I'm like, really? You know it all? Like, I don't know it all. We've done a lot, but we still don't know that much.
And then you can say like, okay, you're probably fixed mindset and probably not my
Exactly.
cup of tea.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Really
so
interesting.
important. When I worked at a very large marketing agency, they had core values, and one of the ones that stuck out was called execution excellence.
Mm.
And it was so important to like everybody to like execute on just that core value specifically meant everything to us. I mean, it meant like you go to the restroom and there's like toilet paper out, you replace the toilet paper. It doesn't matter who it is. Someone's
Yeah.
out, Chris is out sick, and his phone's ringing. I answer the phone for him and take over for whatever clients he has or whatever.
I love
Right.
that.
And it was a standard that we all always were trying to achieve every
Mhm.
single day.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, we read that Kool-Aid and we were all about it because that was something that was important to us because we were the best agency in Colorado.
Wow.
And we knew that, but we
Yeah.
worked like it too. And we strived for it. And it was
Mhm.
just so important. So that might be something cool that you can bring into. It's like, hey, here's our manifesto of our core values of like, this is who we are
Excellence,
to
yeah.
be in this group. It's a large group, but it's also an exclusive group because everybody here has a standard that's this.
Yeah.
We're not here. We're up here. We're trying to make some things happen, you know, and
Right.
that makes everybody, because A players want to play with A players. They don't
Yeah.
want to play with B and C players. They want to play with other A players, just like Chris
For sure.
said.
Yeah.
And so it's so important.
And that doesn't mean like you can be an A player and never done a deal,
Mhm.
never done anything in real estate, never owned a business. You can still be an A player and need to be surrounded by the people who have done the things,
Mhm.
but you have that mindset,
For sure.
right? And then the people who've done the things want to take you under their wing. They want to coach you. They want to
Mhm.
pour into you because you have what I believe happy people and people who are striving towards something and passionate about something are more likely to make a positive difference in the world.
100%.
And for me, that is most important. And that's why I am willing at times, less now than used to be, but willing to pour into people that I feel like, okay, you have a good heart, you have the passion, you have something that I can give you that really isn't going to cost me much, could create such a ripple effect in what you will go out and do for others. And that's all any of us really want at the end of the day, is a better place to be with happier people.
Totally. And it's like you've almost built like an ecosystem because now you have your podcast too as well. You have your group, like you're doing deals. Like it sounds like you're building out quite an ecosystem for other people to really, play in. And it builds validity for you, right? As an
Yeah.
expert. It's like you have the group, you have the podcast. What has all that infrastructure done for you personally and career-wise for yourself?
I really haven't taken advantage of it yet. I realize
You
that.
guys are similar in that.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you, and it's
Yeah.
like, hey, where are we going next?
Yeah.
I love that.
Really right now I'm in the rebuilding phase of my portfolio. First of all, I had built a portfolio of properties and was prepared to retire at 30 with pretty substantial passive income, and ended up filing bankruptcy at within 3 months of being like, hey, this is great, I'm going to start looking and planning retirement. I was filing bankruptcy
Wow.
from 800 plus credit score, could get qualified for anything I wanted ever, never missed a payment on anything, never late on anything, to bankruptcy, and sold all my properties. And this was affected, or the result of many different things. The market being one of them. The end of 2022, the interest rates going up. That my buyer, my one dedicated buyer that I had, right? This is the downside. And this resulted in they had like over 10 properties that they were in the process of flipping that now they couldn't sell. So they're like, I don't give a shit how good of a deal you bring me tomorrow, wholesaler. I'm not buying it, right? So that was my day-to-day income, was the wholesale deals, those transactions. So that slowed up. I had short-term rentals, and that was majority of my revenue that I was earning every month in a property management company. And so both of those slowed up. The permitting requirements changed dramatically.
Yep.
I wasn't able to keep some of those properties running as Airbnbs. And then, taxes. Yeah. I, as a young, don't know shit about taxes, think I want to be running businesses and doing and generating all this revenue. I had a CPA who I was paying substantial amount of money to manage all my books. I had 5 companies at the time, and they didn't know squat about real estate. They started as my CPA for my trucking company, and I was loyal and wanted to keep them. And as I was moving into all these other ventures, they didn't know. And I mean, they screwed up everything tax-wise. They were claiming that a lot of the wholesale properties were flips. So those are looking like I owe capital gains tax on properties that I never took title on. Apparently there was a agent at the company that went rogue and was intentionally screwing people over, was what the owner told me afterwards when I was pursuing a lawsuit. But they double claimed my income. At the end of 2022, I got hit with like a really big tax bill from the IRS of over $100,000.
Wow.
And then I also had custody of some little girls that I was caring for at the time. And beginning of 2023, so all of that was happening. My brother gets in a motorcycle accident. And we're close. He's living in one of my condos at the time. And I'm helping with that just as a whole. Fly out to see it. He was in Florida at the time when it happened. And so that was months of his recovery and helping with getting his wife and kids to and from and paying the mortgage of the condo that they're in, and so there was so many life things. And ultimately I before I ever even missed a bill, I called a bankruptcy attorney and I'm like, I need to file bankruptcy. And he's like, no, you don't. Like, we're going through my stuff. He's like, you haven't missed anything. What do you mean? And I'm like, I know how this works. I know where this flow is going. And I don't want to get to the point where people are calling me every day. So like, let's just do it. So I have to sell all my properties and start over, really. And that was a big emotional hit for me because, again, like I've kind of always been an overachiever. I graduated high school a year early. The trucking, all the things. To get to that point and feel like I was really failing was really hard. And I kind of just like wallowed in self-pity for a while, and then met a gentleman who wanted to start a trucking company and was kind of like my ray of light to get me into something again, and started another trucking company with him. And I was like, matter of fact, I'm going to go drive. We're going to buy some trucks and trailers, and I'm going to go drive one of them because I need to like get away. And so I did that for about a year. 2024, all of 2024, I drove my truck and ran the company. And then Sufjan, who's my business partner in real estate Dealmakers, found me on Facebook, saw my group, and was like, he reached out and was like, hey, I'd love to have a conversation with you about this group, and see if we could bring it in person and we can do events and we can create memberships and classes, right? He didn't tell me all of that. He just said, you have this group and I'd love to talk to you. And I was like, I don't know who you are, dude. Leave me alone. I didn't respond to him. And he reached out again and he's like, okay, well, I flip houses in Florida and you have a trucking company. I also own a company where I sell building supplies and I want to get some of my building supplies from Colorado down to my flip in Florida. Can I hire your company to move the supplies? I'm like, all right. So we do that. And then he's like, okay, can we have a conversation now? Can you come and meet with me at the building? And so I do. And we meet. And again, he has that heart similar to Rob. And I cry. And by the end of it, I'm thanking him. And I'm just like, he's explaining to me the vision of what we can do with this Facebook group and how we can grow it and how my passion for teaching and the education side of things can really help people and get them into real estate. And so, yeah, I cried and I was just very grateful that he had reached out with this opportunity for us to come together and do it. And that's when we started Real Estate Dealmakers.
Wow. And so what does it mean when you're like kind of in the slumps of things and you're going through what you're going through and someone just comes out of nowhere and believes in you? Because for me, I know personally that's meant everything. Like
Yes.
someone who believes in me when I don't believe in myself. I have a high level of self-confidence, but in my life, I've gone through some tough things too. And when someone believes in me, there's just no other feeling like it.
Yeah.
So walk us through more of that.
It's
experience.
huge. Yeah. Thank you for asking that. That's very important. Frank Sinclair actually had me on his podcast and we talked about that very thing. And yeah, it's a feeling that is hard to describe because especially when you feel like you're not believing in yourself. I, with my business partner in the trucking company, I was a little confused at first of like, why would you? I literally have nothing to offer you. I have $0 to like put into this company. And he's like, okay, but you know your stuff. You've ran a trucking company. You had a driver and you were good at it and you know how to talk to people and you can be good with hiring drivers. And I'm not good at that stuff. And so for someone to see value in me when I wasn't really seeing it in myself, it was what I needed really, because I don't know where I would be otherwise. I really didn't see anything after that. Being so depressed and just like feeling like such a failure without having somebody who believes in you to pick you up. Yeah, I think that's when people really get hopeless and they make decisions that they can't come back from. So I've thanked my partner so many times for that and told him like, you're my angel because you brought me back to life and then brought me back to some life. Like me being a truck driver still is not like my passion for life. But it at least got me up. And then Sufjan, my partner in Real Estate Dealmakers, like that was like, wow. I don't even know how to put words to it other than that. Wow.
I love though that it's the art of getting back up. I think anyone who's successful has had a bunch of failures, like financial, mental, emotional, maybe family, like just there's always going to be something.
Yeah.
Life is really hard. It's always going to be really hard. And no one gets this like free pass. And I think the harder you push, the more adversity you have. And people, I think successful entrepreneurs don't tell that enough of all the failures.
Yeah.
Like all the times you've invested or done something and it should have worked. You've done everything right and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And you had to build it back up. But the thing that I love about people like you is you get back up. You're like, all right, I don't know what's next, but I'm going to do it. And usually when you have that mindset, the people are there.
Yeah.
There is going to be somebody that's like, hey, I've been there.
Yeah.
And I've been where you've been. And how do I help you?
Yeah.
And I love that about Colorado Springs. There's so many people in that space
Willing.
that are always, that are willing to say, how do I help?
Yeah, that's true. And wanting to get back up, like not wanting to. I could have went and got a job. I could have did it. And not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not for me.
Mhm.
And it's not going to allow me to fulfill what I believe to be my purpose in life. So I could have not gotten back up and decided to just be like, all right, I suck.
Mhm.
This isn't for me. But yeah, to get up and keep pushing, it creates a whole new level of badassery. I feel like
Yeah,
now I
sure.
feel I already was like confident. Now I'm even more confident, but I needed to be humbled. I needed that experience because I was not that I was like bad by any means, but I wasn't really giving as much as I would like to. I was taking my what's the word? Luxuries. I was taking my luxuries for granted.
Mhm.
And I don't do that anymore. And now I appreciate if I make $50, I am happy, and I am looking at I'm asking ChatGPT, who I love to talk to all the time, like he's my best friend. I'm asking like how to be a good steward of money. Like the next time I make 100 grand, how do I be a good steward of this and it not be just for me and for trips and for cars and for, so I think those failures that a lot of us go through are necessary to get us to that point, if nothing else.
I love that.
Yeah, you definitely, I mean, if you haven't already, think about writing a book because what a cool, I mean, everybody loves a comeback story, right? And like, there's just a whole nother fire when you finally get it back. Cause sometimes like when you're really down in there and life hits you and you're like, how can all this perfect storm hit all at once
Yeah.
to hit me so low? Cause I felt like, I had so many legs to stand on, but all of them got knocked out. How could that
Domino
possibly be?
effect.
Like, it's insane. But once you come back from that, it's like you're saying, you had to feed the beast. You're unstoppable at that point. Cause you're like, I've been through some things now, like there's a lot of things life can throw at me that I've already have an experience in. And so the next time it happens, I know I can weather that storm.
Yeah.
And so that's, have you thought about writing a book or anything like that? Or?
Yeah. I've written a part of a book. I've co-authored a book about, I think it's like unstoppable women in real estate. This was before the bankruptcy.
Ah.
Now it's really unstoppable.
Yeah. I plan to write a book at some point, and right now my focus is building the community and then getting to a point where I'm able to utilize the ecosystem that I've built to do my own deals. I don't necessarily have as much of an interest in single family homes anymore. I'm more focused on commercial. And that I'm so green and it's so different and it's difficult. So I'm giving myself time to get into that and do it right.
That's beautiful. I was just going to ask, just to kind of hang on that moment for a little bit longer. What would one piece of advice you'd give Gabrielle going right through the hardest parts of that bankruptcy, not seeing the other side of that? What's one piece of advice that you give her now that you've kind of been around and gone through that situation?
Probably the same advice that my mentors, Charles and Gary, who's a local investor as well, were telling me at the time. That I was like, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. I don't want to hear it. Like, whatever, guys. I would give myself that same advice, which was one, be grateful that this is happening at 29, right? Like that you're 29, you don't have kids. It's just you. If you got to eat ramen noodles for a little bit, like it's all right. And this is going to make you stronger. And that at the time sounded like nonsense. I didn't see it, but maybe coming from me, if I was able to tell me that at that moment of like, hey, this is actually, it's okay, it's going to work out, then I would feel a little bit more hope in that moment.
Yeah, pain is loud, huh? Like when you're going through pain, it's almost like it's loud. Nothing can really get in because it's just so loud. You're sulking in it.
Yeah.
You can't really even see far, to the future, and you're just stuck in the moment. And it's just so painful.
Yeah.
And so that's very human for you to not really, allow too much in when you're just, you're struggling. You're in fight or flight. It's hard for you to get outside advice. You're like, oh, just do better. That's what you think they're saying to you or whatever it might be. But it's a challenge. So I'm so glad you've been able to come out to the other side of that. What are, now that you're here, which is such a great position to finally be in, seeing both sides of all that.
Thank you.
What does the future look like for you?
The future looks like lots of commercial real estate for sure that I'm going to own, multifamily properties, the opportunity to tap into some probably like sober living communities and find ways to contribute to that space uniquely. I've already identified some things within that space that I am not fond of from a business standpoint that I would like to do differently. And getting more involved with youth. I have a passion for speaking to young ladies, especially, and encouraging them. Writing a book is definitely in my future, and getting to a point where I'm better at the work-life balance that we talk about, this phantom thing that I have not mastered, but has also been part of the biggest takeaway in that journey of building my portfolio and doing all these deals and whatever. I was neglecting me. I was not taking care of my body. I was eating like crap. I was drinking all the time. I was not sleeping well. And it showed. And because I worked constantly, and when I wasn't working, I was partying. And I don't drink anymore. I just celebrated 6 months of sobriety.
Congratulations.
And I don't intend on ever drinking alcohol again. It's not for me. Thank you. But so I'm really focused on like just having those new habits that I'm creating of what to do instead of working until 10 p.m. every night, instead of drinking, instead of going out. And those create a happier, healthier me so that I can show up and be more excellent in the work that I'm doing here. So in the near future, I think I'll be like great at that. Whereas right now I'm just dabbling in the taking care of myself space.
That's beautiful. Is there anything else, brother, before we close up?
Just to tie this all together for your online community, who are the folks that you're trying to attract or magnetize?
Everyone really. Like, and I say that and it doesn't exactly make sense, but everyone. People, I think everyone wants financial freedom. And that's why I say everyone. Because regardless of if you are in real estate or you have a portfolio already, or you are an inspection company, or you are a photographer, we all want financial freedom. Real estate is proven to be one of the main ways to get there, to set up assets that can earn you money that you don't have to like work for, right? And earn passive income. So I welcome everybody into our community because we have education for everybody, regardless of what they know about real estate or don't. And then the businesses, the photographers, the attorneys, the cleaning companies, I welcome them as well because this is a space where they can connect with other trusted companies that do good work, that are trustworthy. And so they can build a really good referral network. And then also be put on a platform where they can connect with more customers that know that this is a trusted space to come and find resources.
So anyone who's kind of building their 2026 plan and is like, I want financial freedom through real estate, and that could be real estate services or investing in real estate, would be a good fit for your community.
Yes.
Okay. So
in all sectors of real estate, land, commercial, industrial, everything. Yep.
That's
I can't wait to
amazing.
join.
Yeah, that's amazing.
We'd love to have you.
Yeah, we might have to join for sure. I have one last question for you.
Yeah.
For those who say the American dream is dead, that you can't get into real estate because, whatever it might be, you're someone who's in their late 20s, who's working a full-time job, have a little bit of disposable income, but they see the housing costs at $550,000 or whatever it might be now for medium house price here. What do you say to those folks?
I say you need one of three things, but not all of them. You need time, money, or knowledge. So if you don't have the money, right? You're working what you're working, you're maxed out on that time, or at least to be able to work. Then you need knowledge or time. Outside of work, what are you doing? Do you go home and you watch TV?
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you go hang out with your friends and drink? That's time that an investor who has hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in their bank account and they run a multi-million-dollar company, they don't have time, right? So you have something that they don't have. They have money, you have the time. And or knowledge, right? So again, spend that time either doing the work, going out and door knocking, posting on social media, showing up to free classes, utilizing your time for that, so that you can gain knowledge. Because if you have knowledge, even if you don't have the time to do the work, you don't have the money, if you have the knowledge of what it is that needs to be done, then you have something that other people don't have. And with that, there's always a way. There's always somebody willing to partner. There's always, and it's not going to be your mom. It's not going to be your best friend most of the time, right? It's going to be a stranger who sees the value and opportunity of something that you have that they don't. And if you utilize it correctly, you can go buy a house in 2026. You can buy a fourplex in 2026. If you educate yourself on how to do that, the money will present itself.
Love it. That's a great way to end this. This has been so great and so fruitful. And thank you for being vulnerable with us and telling us your story.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about, right? It's like all of us have those stories of so much adversity in their careers. I mean, that's how we earn our stripes as entrepreneurs. And so like it takes one to know one, right? So once you know, like someone's been in the game long enough, you know they have those stories, whether they're hidden or they're up front, it doesn't matter. And so that's what makes this whole thing beautiful, this whole journey of entrepreneurship. So we appreciate that, Gabrielle. It's been so great having you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, this is your camera right here. Where can we find you?
If you guys want to connect, check out our private Facebook group, Real Estate Dealmakers, or you can find me on Instagram at Investor Lady G. It was Trucker Lady G. And then when I got into real estate, I changed it. People still call me Trucker Lady G though. Or you can call me 719-641-0119.
Love it. Well, this has been the COS Business Podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next one.